Good evening, everyone, and welcome to MNW Firing Line, your guide to Multiverse Nexus Wrestling. I'm your host, Jerry Aldini, and normally I would introduce my broadcast partner, Pete McPherson, but right before we went on air, I got a note. Apparently, Pete is in a meeting with Human Resources. Yes, I know what that means. I think we all know what that means. I mean, that he's meeting with registered anon. And what that means beyond that, we've all... Lately, there's been so much going on. There's shakeups across the whole company, and I've been meeting with him, and it's a lot, folks. It's a lot. Let me break it down for you folks. So I'm sure you're all aware that there were a couple of weeks back where I was pitch hitting in with Eric Generickson doing commentary on the show Warzone. Well, last week I wasn't there. There was no call. I was like, oh, all right, they've figured it out. No, they had Eric going alone. Don't know if you noticed that. But I got called into a meeting, and all I was told was make sure my Saturdays are free for the foreseeable future. I guess I'm going to be on regular commentary on Warzone. I suspect it is related to that Pete is meeting with registered anon. But we're not going to dwell on that right now. I'm a firm believer in not borrowing trouble from the future. No, there's enough trouble right here in the present. And with that, let's not waste any time. Let's get into the show. Let's start with, as always, MNW Friday Night Flashbang, which, appropriately enough, started off with the representative of the brass, Mr. Lawson.
Coming up later tonight, we will be having a tag team turmoil match. Since the Mad World likes to think themselves so mad, we need to find a new number one contender. And we'll be having a series of tag team matches over the next coming weeks to figure out who exactly is worthy to challenge them for those newly won tag team championships. Likewise, I would like to congratulate Johan Mjoln on becoming the new number one contender for Nero Napier's World Heavyweight Championship. And there are many of you who are curious exactly as to how that situation will transpire, since we have not seen a lick of Nero since Multivania. Well, I've spoken to the brass, and I have the answer for you. It's really quite simple. Nero the Brass is going to give you as much latitude as we are contractually allowed to give you, considering what happened to you at Multivania. So, you will have exactly 2 weeks to appear on this show and accept Johan's challenge and defend your World Heavyweight Championship. Otherwise, champ, you will leave me with no choice but to strip you of the championship, in which case we will find a new contender for Johan to face. Now, I know that might not seem fair, but contracts are contracts. Suicide has put us in a rather precarious situation. So, Nero, I truly hope that you are able to heal up. Oh, and Apex, no, before you ask, so we are not going to Freebird rule this. None of you will be stepping in his stead. Either Nero shows up here within 2 weeks, or he will be stripped of his championship. No ifs, ands, or buts. Have a great rest of your evening.
When that lays out the Flashbang World Heavyweight situation, Johan Mjoln, of course, won that match to earn his title shot. And we have either tomorrow night or a week from tomorrow for Johan to get that match with Nero, or Nero will be stripped of the heavyweight title. At which point, I assume Johan Mjoln will face some other number one contender for the belt. And that does make for a precarious situation because I've met with Johan Mjoln before. I've spoken with him. And of course, I know wrestlers. I used to be one. And if there's one thing everyone knows, it's no one wants to get the title after it's been stripped off of someone. I will take that back. There are certain people, Wilson, that might be perfectly fine with that. But in all your day-to-day, your down in the locker room, wrestlers, they want to actually earn. They want there to be no question they earned that belt. Believe me, I've been in those situations. And you want to be able to say definitively, no, I deserve to be champion, and not have somebody come back 6 months later accusing you of wearing their jewelry. And that's the situation we're in now. So we will wait. We will see. And as much as this may sound strange coming from this commentary booth, we're pulling for you, Nero. That felt odd. Okay. I'm fine. I must remain impartial. I am a sports journalist now. Yes. Anyway, and with that said, it's time to move on to our first match, which, as always, is a showcase match. Well, not, I say as always, I'm feeling whimsical for some reason tonight. And we've had weeks without showcase matches, but let's be honest, it usually starts out with a showcase, and we love it that way. I don't look upon it as predictable. I look upon it as comforting. You know what you're getting. And with that, we are getting this week the Bulldog Grant Martin from the Honor Bound, Sheepy from AAA, Seth Jackson from the Arcane Protection Services, Samuel Manatee from Hell's Kitchen, Zephyr Tail from Apex, Alexis Edmonton from Deep Space, I suspect, Helix Sucks from the Darkest Pits, and the Grim Reaper from the local biker bar, apparently. Reaper sporting a new look. I guess he's looking for a fresh start after the breakup of the Empire, being his own man, and maybe for the first time, and going after his, many would say, opposite number, going right after Death himself, Helix Sucks. Meanwhile, we see Helix Sucks himself getting Death's door on the Sheep, and that's it for the Sheepy. He beep beep, you're eliminated first. Meanwhile, as the battle goes on, Alexis, by the way, we talked about the Reaper's look, but check out the new outfit on Alexis. She's also showing a new attire, perhaps looking for her own fresh start in the ranks. And meanwhile, she getting into a three-way dance with Samuel Manatee and Zephyr Tail. Zephyr getting, for his trouble, Power Slam from Hell from the Reaper, but it's Manatee getting a cover on Alexis, and the Merc is out of the match. And in the meantime, you have, again, Manatee now focusing on Reaper, Seth Jackson focusing on Helix Sucks. Also, sorry, I forgot to mention, Bulldog Grant Martin on that, eliminated by Helix Sucks. Oh, no, why did I say that he was? I guess I was getting too soon. I reviewed this match, I swear. Anyway, there's Helix getting that power slam on Bulldog, and now is the 3 count. And there we have it. It's now down to 5. And you have Mr. Manatee facing off against Seth Justice Jackson. And the two reversing each other like crazy. And then we have, while Manatee working on Jackson, Helix sucks, waking back up. The Sunken Sea Captain getting that Boston Crab on Seth. And Justice Jackson eliminated from the match. And now we're down to 4. And what a 4. Again, you have the Grim Reaper. Would love to be able to eliminate Helix sucks. Being sent for the ride in the meantime, also perfectly willing to go after a member of Apex. The old allegiance between the Empire of Terror and Apex died with the Empire. But the second time in the match, the Boston Crab put on someone, this time the Grim Reaper, and the Reaper is out. This leaves us with 3. And the head chef looking to make sushi out of the Sunken Sea Captain. These two, while there's not a lot of history directly between them, you cannot ignore the issues between Manatee's partner Gemini and Apex. Thus, Samuel Manatee eliminating the Sunken Sea Captain, but then finding himself at the mercy of Death himself. And 1 3 count later, and Death doesn't claim his victim. Manatee managing to kick out, but if we know anything, it is Death will not be denied. And here we have it. And on Death's door, and that's it. And then finally, the 1, 2, 3, and Helix Sucks reigns supreme. And there you have it. Helix Sucks winning the showcase, standing tall and looking for his next challenge. A moment like this in a showcase match can get a career that has maybe been stalling some gas and get him back on track. Speaking of gas, oh boy. Now that I've been in rings directly, no. It's been a long time since I faced Pyro. It was so cold when Dr. Grimm got into the... No. I'm focused. I'm focused. I'm fine. Everything's great. How are you? With that, Helix Sucks winning his showcase match, and this leading us into the evening. The next person out, and we go straight into another match. This, a little bit more of a history between this match. There is absolutely no doubt that there has, from almost the time they first met, been friction between Fabulous and Vaporwave. Well, now they're going to have another chance to get in the ring and put each other to the test. This time, Aqualung, being accompanied by Apollo Hades and Rico Rose, will face Fuck Him Wang, accompanied by Joseph Cowman and Sugarfoot Iron. So this Aqualung has shown himself to be perhaps the power player of Vaporwave, and certainly Fuck Him Wang has the best singles record of any member of Fabulous, and has also been considered their best asset. So seeing these two in the ring, going at it tooth and nail, purple versus purple. Do you ever notice both of these teams seem to have a perchance for those jewel tones? Just saying. Sometimes fashion matters. But in a lot of ways, you look at people like Wang and Aqualung, and they do feel like they are very evenly matched, very almost mirror images of each other in so many ways. And both giving it their all. And Aqualung going for the early cover on Wang. But one of the things that has defined Fuck Him Wang's career is his endless resiliency. He is a hard man to put down, but Aqualung is going to pull out every trick in the book. And with this, not to be, because again, as we said, Wang is ready for everything. Wang truly at this point is one of the veterans of Flashbang, a OG member of the roster, versus Aqualung, who was a more recent entrant into the Nexus. Both do submission moves. Both are decent strikers. Both love their flashy moves. But in the end, as is with any wrestling match you get into, only one can win. And Wang is determined to not walk away with the loss. Fabulous, of course, looking to raise their stakes, maybe getting a future shot at gold. And if anyone in that group's going to get a shot, it's going to be Wang right here. That that amazing hold, and that time the tap occurs and Aqualung eats the loss to the power player of Fabulous. But as Wang was in the ring celebrating in a moment of camaraderie and good sportsmanship, as we said, two equally talented wrestlers. Game recognizes game, and Aqualung, my friend, is willing to raise the hand of Fuck Kim Wang. With that, the question now, we know that Apollo Hades is still looking to make his point, to make his mark on Friday Night Flashbang. And I expect to see some big things from him coming, because I don't believe he wants to be a win down against Fabulous. We'll have to tune in to Friday Night Flashbang tomorrow night to find out. In the meantime, well, we're here, folks. If there's one thing that has been dominating Flashbang since Multivania, it is the revelations of the machinations of one Suicide Gemini, causing so much chaos across the roster, all for the chance to get his vengeance on Nero Napier. And as has been happening quite a lot lately, once again, he comes to the ring to spell out his current position.
Oh, you see, Nero, I have been spiraling downward into a very deep and dark place. I don't call it fall into despair for nothing. Misery loves company, and so I thought I would reach up and lend a hand. Do you feel the walls closing in around you, Napier? Do you feel that championship you so crave to hold on to, slipping away through your fingers? It's suffering, maddening even. Well, Nero, there is nothing you can do to escape your fate. I will ensure it comes to pass. You will not make it here in 2 weeks, and while, Johann, I apologize that you won't get to defeat Nero, and someone won't pin his shoulders to the mat, this is the only way. It is the only way to free Flashbang from the grip of Apex, and to cut the head off the snake once and for all. Without Nero, without the Queen, Apex will fall. They will fracture, they will splinter, and they will separate. And then we can all go back to having fun. We just have to kill Nero. Figuratively, of course. So that's what I'm going to do, Nero. Sleep with one eye open. Find your werewolf guardian. Call up your Crimson Phoenix and bang on the door of your delightful gorilla. None of them can save you from me. I will make sure that title is ripped from your waist one way or another.
I didn't think it was possible, but he's gotten creepier. He has definitely gotten creepier. Be that as it may, he's not wrong. As we know, Nero has 2 more opportunities to appear on Friday Night Flashbang and meet Johann Mjoln for that challenge. Otherwise, he gets stripped of his title. But in the meantime, let's turn our eyes away from that aspect of Apex and look at another, as a match has been set up for 2 other members of Apex to make their place, that being Primal Heat. Revolos and Crimson Phoenix taking on Zach DeWeaver and the Curator, the Guild. And of course, in a tornado-style match, and immediately, legs is down. The ref has been hit. That's a way to start out the match. Let's make sure the ref has a concussion, guys. Good job. Revolos going up against the Orc, which seems about appropriate. If you want to fight a gorilla, you might as well have an Orc. The Curator going after the Phoenix, the once dapper bird, but now showing a more fiery personality. Going up against the adventurer across the multiverse, a man who has looked for curios and treasures across many universes in the multiverse. Now finding glory here in Multiverse Nexus Wrestling. Revolos, we still don't know a lot about Revolos other than monkey. Well, that's not even accurate. I'm sorry. I have an old friend who did primate studies and would chastise me for calling him a monkey. He is, in fact, an ape. But still, we're not sure where he's come from. We just know he brings the primal in Primal Heat and is also bringing it to the Orc. Maybe he's displeased with a recent purchase at the merch stand. Meanwhile, the Phoenix going for a submission move on the Curator, but reversed. At this point, the Guild have been showing a lot of heart of recently. They've been having a great win-loss record, and somebody at some point has to take on the Mad World for those tag team belts, and the Guild would like to be considered one of their potential challengers. Meanwhile, Primal Heat would also like to be in there because they would like to bring more gold home to Apex. Why not all the gold to Apex? Meanwhile, both teams, again, this is a rare in my observations of tornado matches. You rarely see a match where the opponents do not change partners. But this match, notice it stayed pretty much Revolos versus Zach, Curator versus Phoenix, and in the end, the Orc proved more than the ape could take. There, I guess he had more DACA, and the winners are the Guild. Now, if Zach would just stop selling replica masks to Jack the Questionable. And with that, it is time to move on to yet another person coming to the ring. This time, well, there's been a lot going on vis-a-vis a certain prophet who has come to join us on Friday Night Flashbang. That, of course, being Lionel Matrix, the prophet of Nordia. And one person who has heard his message is the cult classic, Henry Colt.
So back when I was in the hospital with Ma and Pa, I was given a little bit of a gift from Lionel Matrix on behalf of his prophet, Lady Nortia. And a lot of you people have been saying and thinking that, well, there was some kind of ulterior motive, that it didn't come from a genuine place. And where I'm from, I like to take a man at his word. And after seeing what he said a couple of weeks ago and then watching his performance last week, I'm inclined to believe the guy. I mean, I feel like we haven't given him a fair shot since he stepped in here. And so I wanted to make a proposal and see if Lionel maybe wanted to take me up on it. So I'm still trying to get my feet under me. And I was told that we had this whole tag team turmoil thing. So I thought, you know what, Matrix, if you wanted to, I could show all these people that you are genuine. And we can go ahead and form a little tag team, get ourselves some action, and get up into this tag team turmoil thingamajig. I figure it's the least I could do after everything you did for me and my family. So if you're interested, you meet me on right here, and we'll show them that Lionel Matrix and the cult classic Henry Colt are the newest and freshest team coming to your Friday nights. And we're going to do it against some of the most established teams in this building. I don't know who that's going to be, but if it's going to be a turmoil, you can't have a barroom brawl without the cult classic.
So Henry Colt fully throwing his weight behind Lionel Matrix and willing to give him a chance. Now, we here at MNW Firing Line have stated that we are absolutely willing to give Matrix a chance. He made his point a couple of weeks ago of what has he actually done. And even though he gave us a little bit of a weird vibe, he has made the point that he is not actually done anything that we can really point to say, well, that was bad. So we're giving him the opportunity, to show that he is on the up and up. And, until he does something to show otherwise, he's getting that benefit. And that's where we're going. Now, with that said, it's time for the next match of the evening. And that is going to be, well, remember there's a upcoming match, cross-brand, the Trios Tag Team titles. And Doom will be defending them against VIP. But until then, the members of Doom need to keep themselves in tip-tap fighting shape. And with that, we now go to the ring where we find the bringer of the apocalypse, Michael Macabre, facing against Electro Man of Electro Reality, being joined by his partner, the VR Junkie. And this is an interesting matchup. Yes, Michael, of course, being joined by the Night Reaper, Zericus. And here we have an interesting matchup because of late, Electro Man has been putting forth a lot of effort to raise the status of Electro Reality in the roster, bring them up in the ranks. They've had title shot against the Bone Warriors, and they are going up against all comers. On the other hand, Doom, well, Doom is Doom. They are one of the dominant forces. They are the most experienced tag team in Flashbang. They were in the first ever Flashbang tag match. And they do currently hold the Trios titles. And of course, we all know the one commandment of Flashbang, the one rule of Doom, thou shalt not mess with Doom. And Electro Man's following that commandment. They're having just a good straight up match. No shenanigans. 2 men enter. Who will leave? Of course, there's a lot of other questions surrounding Michael Macabre. That being, we know in recent weeks he's made some kind of arrangement with the chocolate zombie Graven that will somehow involve addressing Graven's weakened condition and lead to a possible cure. Don't know enough about that yet. Definitely waiting to see. And there you see the quickness. Now, a lot of people were like, was that magic? And it's like, no, I've seen people move fast in the ring like that before. And apparently even Electroman was asking, the hell was that? But we had people go over the tape, and it's like, nope, he was just fast. Which, all right, fair. We give you, they have sworn, they being doomed, that there's no shenanigans. And after a straight-up 3 count, Michael Macabre walking away with the win, and Electroman will have to try for another day to make his mark. And there he is, Michael Macabre. What a figure he cuts. And I say that because I have to assume some of those exposed bones might be sharp. But, oh, hang on. I'm getting a note. Hold on a moment, folks. I have to get the phone. Hello, you're on Firing Line. Caller, are you there?
Sorry. Hey, Jerry. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is the chocolate zombie, Graven. Graven, good to have you on the show. How are you feeling, Graven?
Okay. So a lot of people have been wondering about me and Michael, and I gotta admit, when he kind of came to me and offered to help take care of my, condition, I was a little skeptical at first, but the process seems to be working. I seem to be getting my strength back.
That's great to hear, I guess. So basically, it sounds like you were taking Wiley's advice of get the cure first.
Yeah. That's getting the cure first was the more important part. Figuring out the after effects is we're still in that stage. So far, everything seems to work. The only thing that I've noticed is that, I feel like I've aged a little bit. And correct me if I'm wrong, you're several hundred years old? In a way, yeah. This we addressed this during the whole Prinny shenanigans, but yeah.
That's what I'm remembering, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's, behind the scenes, folks, lifting the veil a little bit. You heard this here first on Firing Line. Absorbing the souls of the dead can be a little arduous, and it's part of the reason I've been off for a couple of weeks. I've been just making sure nothing bad has happened because of it, and I'm figuring that part of that is probably why the whole aging thing is going on.
Now, all right, aging, sure. I mean, I've heard stranger things around here, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So do you have any idea when we might see you back in action?
Well, I mean, I guess it's the press's decision. Supernatural being what it is, it's not their forte. And, the doctors, they'll be like, oh, well, you might be okay, but are you really okay? But it's up to them. Hopefully soon.
Fair enough. So with that, Graven, is there any message you want to give to the audience out in Multiverse Nexus Wrestling?
I got two things. First and foremost, I know that we've got the trios match coming up with VIP and Doom, and all I gotta say is, considering I owe Michael a bit of a favor for helping me out, just letting Doom know if you ever need any help dealing with those guys, feel free to give me a call. And secondly, I guess for Suicide, You know, on one hand, not having Nero around, stripping him of the belt, it would be another chance for me to go after the championship after I've been fully healed. But on the other hand, he really did earn that belt fair and square. He beat 7 of the best men in the roster. And wanting to just kind of throw that away just because you weren't chosen kind of makes you look like an ass.
All right, fair enough. Well, Graven, thank you for stopping by, and we wish you continued success on your recovery and hope to see you in the ring real soon.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the chocolate zombie, Graven. And as we move on now, with that out of the way, we're just talking about the situation with Nero. And with the questions about his belt. And of course, that we have our number 1 contender in Johan Mjoln, the Son of Thunder. Well, there's one person who seems a little less than satisfied with that situation. We now go to the ring and hear from the leader of the cartel, Victor Vicious.
Listen up, you schmucks. I'm getting real sick and tired of being on the short end of the stick all the time. As you have seen over these last couple of weeks, the cartel is focused. And if they want to throw some phony number 1 contender like Johan out here, Nitzig deserves his one-on-one opportunity. But nah, they gave it to the schmuck who turned on all his friends, who decided he was going to go play footsie with the Empire for a little while. So if we're going to let the Empire's bitch get a number 1 contendership, where's Nitzig's opportunity to go one-on-one? Isn't existent. Why? They don't like us. So here's what we're going to do. Hutch can't get his shot against Brawl. Nitzig can't go back after Nero. We can't get our hands on a Madness or Kuso Kale. They ain't even here. So how about you bring that troll train ass and that little punk Brawl Kaiser down here, find yourself a partner, and we'll have a little 8-man tag. Because I actually know somebody who could use a little bit of cash and would love to kick your head right off your shoulders, Johan. You too, Tiki. That's assuming all y'all's got the balls. Because after we take the tag belts and the interdimensional championship, Johan, even if you do beat Nero, that belt's coming home to the cartel too. You keep it warm for us, bitch of thunder.
As a journalist, as the person whose job it has been for the last 2 years to chronicle the happenings in Multiverse Nexus Wrestling, if there's one thing that really grates on me, it's revisionist history. Now, of course, I see what Victor's doing, and it's, I think he might have a really great career in politics one day, rewriting the world to suit his narrative. But here, we all know you've had your shots. You want to make an opportunity, make an actual opportunity. And with that, I'm not the only one with questions about the situation with the cartel and with also the upcoming situation with the tag belts. So to that end, it's time for our Flashbang audio promo of the week. We always like to take time during the show to highlight one of the audio promos from a member of the Flashbang roster. Everyone works really hard on getting their messages across. And this week, the audio promo of the week, ladies and gentlemen, presenting The Madness.
Mad Ramblings was filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Well. I guess surprise is in order. Mazel tov. It's a Mandalorian. So much has happened recently, huh? The Simon Who Laughs got the boot, meaning Honorbound is down a member. We have a new #1 contender for Nero's belt, which is a real shame. We were excited for Troll Train to come for the tag belts. Apex is, of course, as usual, still running around like chickens with their heads cut off without their boss to lead them. And we're still having a little spat with the cartel. And of course, we had our big reveal for the first woman in MNW to hold gold. Kuso Kale. What a time we've had! So, you all may be wondering, what's next? With the reveal of Kuso Kale, are we still going forward as the Mad World? Is Uncle Madness going to have to play marriage counselor? Are we going to have a full-blown civil war with the cartel? Well, that depends on the brass and you, Hachi-kun. And to the rest of the roster, keep out of our business, or you'll share the same fate as the Zoo Pow plates over at AAA. That being said, make your move, Hachi-kun. We're waiting.
This episode of Mad Ramblings is brought to you by Zoo Pals. Zoo Pals. Zoo Pals make eating fun.
And yes, so we have that situation. That is, of course, the Madness, one half of the Flashbang Tag Team Champions. But, of course, one of the matches we heard about earlier in the evening, announced by Mr. Lawson, was the Tag Team Turmoil match. We have to find contenders for the Mad World. And now, let's see who we have on tap. Well, first off, the Abyssal Void, Lord V, and the Cleaver, formerly of the Empire. Slamfibian from AAA, well, that means it's their partner, the Demolition Fox. Then, as had been called out earlier, Lionel Matrix joining Henry Colt to make their shot. And then finally, one of the top tag teams on Friday Night Flashbang, representing House Caliban, the Time Bandits. And this is a stacked card. This is a stacked match. Top tag teams in the Abyssal Void, the Time Bandits, and AAA. And then you have the Cult Classic, a main eventer here on Friday Night Flashbang, being joined by his new friend, Lionel Matrix. And with that, we get into this match. And it's, of course, as you would think in any match with the name Turmoil, it's crazy out there. You have the Cleaver versus Matrix. You have Lord V versus the Cult Classic. You have the Highwayman Thunderbolt against Slamfibian, and you have the Sandman facing off against Demolition Fox. Just, we are all over the place. And, of course, in a match like this, the challenge is always keeping your head on a swivel, because you've got one partner and 6 opponents you've got to keep in mind what's going on with at all times. 6 different people who could take you out, and one person that if they're in trouble, you've got to be ready to help them. And poor Legs, he's just getting knocked around like crazy during this match. And everyone going crazy. Then you have the show of strength and an out of time by the Sandman going after the Cult Classic, but Matrix and the Cleaver simultaneously breaking up that pin. Meanwhile, Thunderbolt trying to work over Slamphibian and finding himself up against Matrix. Meanwhile, Lord V making his own show of strength on the Demolition Fox. Just craziness. You've got a ex-member of the Empire in there, but no one was paying attention to Thunderbolt took that match while everyone else was busy by going after the least experienced member of the roster, and thus does Sandman and Thunderbolt win the Tag Team Turmoil match. So I expect the announcement of the status of number one contender anytime now. And yeah, that match, that's, crazy editing, by the way. We have to edit these down. That match, if you weren't checking your clocks, that was a nearly 30-minute match. We just had to pull the highlights because, again, insanity. 4 top teams going for glory, but in the end, only one can walk away victorious. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to the main event, a match called for earlier in the evening by Victor Vicious, looking to go up against the Troll Train and Brawlkaiser and friends. So we now go to the ring where Johan Mjoln, the number one contender for Nero's belt, and his partner Tiki the Troll are joined by the interdimensional champion, the Brawlkaiser, and somebody who has got his own issues with Nero, the Black Prince Jack Andrews, going up against the Cartel, joined by Aurelian Starhand. It's an interesting matchup, but one that makes sense. Starhand is a rogue trader by trade, and that makes him a bit of a mercenary, which would make him in a lot of ways a good fit for an outfit like the Cartel. Of course, his previous affiliation was with the Empire of Terror, but, well, we all know what happened to them at Multivania. So, Aurelian looking for new opportunities. Meanwhile, Victor Vicious looking to make a mark, but got hit by Jack Andrews as he was trying. Then, of course, Brawlkaiser and Hutch Kale. These two have had their issues ever since that interdimensional match where Brawlkaiser won because Hutch Kale was received interference from the Mad Jester Fool, who turned out to be his wife, Kuso Kale, in disguise. And we still wonder what's going to be happening with the Kale family drama. But in the meantime, this match continues. You now have Tiki in the ring going against Hutch. Tiki, of course, still looking to shake off some of that ring rust after being on the shelf for a year. And then Troll versus Orc. A tale that has been written out so many times. But can the orkiness of Nitzig take on the trolliness of Tiki? And in the end, the matchup that seemed to be destined, Victor Vicious against the Son of Thunder, Johan Mjoln, kicking him out of the ring. Again, Victor's point is his people deserve a shot. Brawlkaiser deciding, hey, these are your tactics, I'm willing to play. Because let's face it, let's remember how the Cartel won their Survivor Series match against House Caliban, using, questionable outside-the-ring tactics. But the last rites put on by Victor Vicious on the number one contender, and Johan taps. So, say what you will about Victor Vicious being a blowhard, Victor Vicious claiming opportunities that are not rightly his. Victor Vicious, ever since he won that Get Off the Schneid match, has been personally actually on a winning streak. So, and yet he seems to still focus on opportunities for his team. Well, I guess we're just going to have to see how that goes. But ladies and gentlemen, with that, this does bring us to the culmination of our coverage for Friday Night Flashbang. We are left with but one moment left, and that is, of course, the Flashbang Moment of the Week. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Hey baby, it's me, Suplex Sam, and I'm here to tell you about my brand new experience, baby. On the Suplex Express, we're serving up hot dishes and hot meals for all your homies. It's time for Suplex Sam, the soup made for me, baby. Sam I am. Tired of your lunches being soupless? Don't worry, baby. Suplex Sam's got you covered. We got all the flavors. Wonton Wilson's, the beef drippings, the Doctor of Alphagetti, and the VI Pheromone. And of course, the signature soup, the Plex. So you can have your Suplex any day, anytime with yours truly, baby. So come on down to the Suplex Express and get yourself a can of Suplex Sam.
Oh! Weighing in at 375 pounds, the Grim Reaper!
Well, that's not what I was expecting.
I don't know how he's taking the fall of the Empire, do you?
I mean, I feel like this is his... My party is gone.
My party's gone. I guess this is free agent Grim Reaper.
This is not... I was not... Listen, he didn't have to go full Big Evil on us, did he?
I didn't even know he was the kind of man who, like, wore bandanas and, wore bandanas.
I mean, losing everything you ever loved, I mean, I guess that'll do it to a man.
That's true. That's true.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, your Friday Night Flashbang Moment of the Week. Well, and now that we've come here, it is that time again. As everyone knows, our broadcast colleague Joe Mojo is taking a bit of a break. And as such, we don't have a fill-in yet for the call-out. So we have been taking the time to dip into the archives and pull out some classic call-outs. Tonight, we go back to last year when our intrepid reporter Joe Mojo sat down with the then newly crowned Battleground champion, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you Sasquatch Wing.
Thank you, Firing Line, and welcome back to the Call Out. My name is Joe. My next guest is the other half of the O-Laws. He is the last known Squatch. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Battlegrounds champion, Sasquatch Wing. Sasquatch, thank you for joining us.
This one happy to talk to Mojo.
Just Joe is fine, but as one of the oldest tag teams in MNW that are still together, and the Battlegrounds champion, for those who have never heard of you before, what can you tell us about yourself?
Many call this one last Sasquatch when first joined MNW, but this one actually come from whole community of Sasquatch. Sasquatch of Skyraptor. This one was actually runt of community, smallest among all males and many females of Skyraptor. Wanted to prove strength big enough to be guardian among Skyraptor Sasquatch. So long journey begin. This one traveled for a long time before finding MNW, where many strong warriors await to fight. This one remained here to gain big strength by fighting against the strongest that MNW has to offer.
What is the Skyraptor?
Skyraptor is Sasquatch community, named for great bird of prey that swooped down on prey from above.
So your community is named after a predator. Do you know as to why?
There is much fighting among Sasquatch communities. Communities make scary-sounding names to scare other communities out of fights. Skyraptor, Swiftclaw, Forest Cat, Bone Bear, names like that.
That is very interesting. So is this Skyraptor one of the bigger threats that your community has to deal with?
Greater threats are out there, but because Skyraptor Sasquatch, like this one, live on high in mountains, we strike from high up. Imagine bird size of buffalo sweeping down on Joe.
That is terrifying. Yeah, I see what you mean. So, you saw out to prove yourself and stumbled upon MNW?
Yes, MNW have many strong warriors. Many of them not as big as this one, but their big strength could be seen. This one knew that by fighting them, much can be learned from them. This is how this one plans to make this one's strength bigger.
We have heard from your partner in the Outlaws, Raphael Sampson, but I would like to hear your side of the story. How did you two come together?
As far as this one, remember, we formed team for Wish Upon a Brawl tournament with Ogre. Ogre see big strength in this one in Samson, so we formed team for tournament. Run-in tournament did not last. Ogre leave team. Something about revenge against Daverboy. But Samson and Sasquatch were made together as Outlaws.
Since then, the Outlaws have been a staple in the tag team division, always getting very close, but to no avail. Has it been frustrating getting so close to the tag team titles?
It's troublesome. Defeat always is. But defeat can teach as much as victory. Every fight teaches. Every fight makes strong. If not dead, then keep fighting. Keep growing. Other tag teams know this too. But Outlaws not stop fighting or reaching for shiny tag team belts. Every time, Outlaws get closer and closer to getting belts, little by little. Someday, arms will stretch enough to grab belts and be tag champions. Just need patience and more strength.
Whenever the fan base is asked about who should get another shot at the tag team titles, you and Raphael are always the most voted. So at the very least, you have the fans behind you at all times.
Ha! This one thought fans, big flapping papers, were spinning things unseeming at first. World can get strange. But yes, people who cheer for Outlaws give strength as well. Remind us why we fight in Multiverse. Ones who do not believe in own strength look to Outlaws as examples, Simpsons say. Eyes that look upon Outlaws matches must see true strength of Sasquatch and Samson. That why all of big strength is shown in every match.
I mean, you also have Old Saint Nick backing you as well. Less than 2 years ago, you and Raphael teamed up with Santa Claus to take on VIP. We forgot to ask Raphael this, but what was it like teaming with Santa Claus?
This one did not know what a claw of Santa was, or a Santa that has claws. When Samson explained that Santa Claus was spirit of giving known throughout Multiverse, this one admit, impressive. Takes great strength of speed and heart to give to all good children of Multiverse. Turns out, Santa also great warrior against those who bring harm to them. He show us that in ring.
It was an amazing match, but let's go towards Battlegrounds. What was it like going through multiple battle royales in one night?
This one enjoyed many battles, mean many chances to prove strength to Multiverse and prepare for big melee that might come up. Makes one realize how strong wrestlers of Multiverse are, and eating them over top rope, not as easy as it sounded, even to this one. It's fun to make wrestlers fly though.
How about the fights that were to follow? If I remember correctly, you and the Beefling were the ones closer to the top.
Was not like that at first. This one had just one of star chips after first match, but when Beef looked to kick this one out of Battlegrounds, survival mind kicked in. This one wanted Battlegrounds win, so this one could not lose. Especially not to one with a mouth that stink of moo-moo poodoo.
Well, just a couple weeks ago, that came to be as you came out victorious, becoming the inaugural Battlegrounds champion. How does it feel to finally win a title?
This one feels stronger. Feel kind of strength that gets to head and make a little dizzy. Good feeling. This one wear shiny Battlegrounds belt. This one think of fights with Sparrow, Nice Ice, Sawyer, Max Thighs, Robinaga, and Baby Beef. Remember feeling of great strength used to get belt, and greater strength gained in Journey for belt.
Have you been able to have a chance to show your prize back to your family at Skyraptor?
Have not. This one journey far from home, so it take much time. There's still much to do in MNW, but when this one do go back to Skyraptor, this one will be able to show strength gained in Multiverse, with or without belt. Though this one bet that old Oracle back home looking on this one's fights and telling tales of Sasquatch being 2 squanchlings of Skyraptor.
What all would you like to do going forward with the title in hand?
Well, This one have belt. But what about Samson? Samson got good shots at singles titles like this one did. So this one helps Samson get one of those. If that not work, then this one use strength from Battlegrounds and Tag Team Division with Samson. Though if Samson gets singles belt, then both All Odds get title. Also, this one can have Battlegrounds title and other title, yes?
The thought of a double champion has been on the minds of the roster since the main event mechs began pursuing other titles. It is possible and sometimes even encouraged.
Then this one fight for another shiny belt. All Odds can have tag team and singles belts, or 3 singles belts between 2 All Odds. This one not think of better way to show bigger strength of Sasquatch Wing and Samson.
With all this being said and done, as we are winding down here, is there anything that you would like to tell the Firing Line audience?
To those who look upon Sasquatch Wing and All Odds battles with encouraging cries and shouts, this one gives all of gratitude for support. To those who face Sasquatch Wing in ring, for good or ill, prepare to learn, as this one will. This one will glean strength from every fight. Use that strength to fight harder. All in Multiverse have strength of arm, strength of leg, strength of brain, or strength of trickery, but this one will not back down. All of big strength will be put to test. Nothing will leave ring. So, opponents and all of Multiverse, hear the roar of Sasquatch Wing, the roar of big strength, the roar of victory!
I would like to thank my guests for joining us, and if you would like to see the last Squatch in action, please tune in to twitch.tv/Takahata101 for MNW Warzone, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This has been Joe, signing out.
And we're back. And I hope you all enjoyed that classic call out, revisiting Joe Mojo's interview with Sasquatch Wing. And now that we've heard from the Squatch, it's time to move our attention over to Warzone. And this week's Warzone, well, as I said, I wasn't able to make last week. I thought my time was done. And Eric Jenerickson needed to ride solo. And the night started off with a return of a pair of wrestlers that we hadn't seen in ring for quite some time. Ladies and gentlemen, first off, the Latino B, Buck Bumble, taking on the mysterious Mr. Enigma. And that is, this is an interesting setup. Again, we haven't seen Buck in quite a while, and we haven't seen Enigma in quite a while. Both came back after some time off, back in the training facility. And now we get to see them in action. And Buck, of course, Viva La Raza, as people are, it was tweeting out on social media. Although I wouldn't ignore the return of Enigma. He's always been an interesting wrestler, even though we don't know one thing about him. Man lives up to his name. He is a true enigma. Now, I, for one, would love to get to know more about him, especially if I'm going to be commentating about him on Warzone. But he remains elusive, but a powerful force in the ring. On the other hand, Buck Bumble, he flies, he stings, he be, and he has returned with all his glory and coming to make his mark. Makes you wonder what's going to be next for the B. Oh, and there was this. There's certain things you don't want to see coming at you. The stinger to the chest. Oh, and that's it. Buck Bumble for both men on the return. It is the Latino B walking away with the victory what a way to come back. Welcome back, Buck Bumble, and welcome back, Enigma. Looking forward to seeing lots of great work from both of you. And, yep, there he is. Drink it in. Makes me want to have a little tea with honey, seeing him there. That, and I've always liked Buck's theme song. I mean, Buck's entrance music is some of the best in the business. And with that, now that we've got that opening match out of the way, the person who comes to the ring, well, it was an interesting moment that leaves open a lot of possibility. Ladies and gentlemen, one half of the unified tag team champions, Gore Wheel.
Oi, what's happening, gits and gitsettes? It's your boy, Gore Wheel, and on behalf of the Toxic Wastelanders, I'd like to tell you, I told you so. And we still yours unified tag team champions. And it's going to stay that way for a while because I've got a bit of an announcement I'd like to tell everybody. That's right, it's time for the Warzone Tag Team Tournament arc. There, that means all of yous in the back need to form some teams. You need to go find your partners. You need to go talk to Flashbang. And you need to come up with the best teams that you can find because one of you gits is going to get a shot at us. But what does that need for us to do, you know, for the weeks that you're in this big old tournament? Well, you see, the Revenant and I, the main man, we've booked a little bit of a vacation. I feel like we earned it after we put the bloodline in their place, like I said we would. So we's going to chill on the beach and watch you gits fight it out. And when we comes back, we expect the biggest and baddest team in all of MNW to try their luck against the Wastelanders. And whilst we gone, we expect Burnout Vaughn to make it 2 out of 2 for the Roughnecks because he's bringing home the Nexus Titan Championship against Sir Dunkley Gunk. Some money, I don't know, the Monopoly looking guy. You are going down. Compliments of the roughest neck you ever seen. So give him hell, you git.
And there we go. We're entering the tournament arc. Always an exciting time, a tournament arc. Also, oh boy, do I hope that the Wastelanders actually get to enjoy their vacation. I remember what happened last time when they tried to go on vacation and they got called back immediately by HR. It was so much burning, so much destruction. No, let the boys have their fun in Florida, where Florida, how could it possibly get worse? Go Godspeed. Gore Wheel, the worst you could do is a cleansing fire. I kid. I don't kid. Well, now, with that tournament, of course, Burnout Vaughn later in the evening would be taking on Sir Unkley Dunk for the Nexus Titan Championship. But before then, well, there's questions. There's going to be a tournament arc. Who's going to be in it? Well, we got a preview. The Brass booked a showcase match. 8 men entering that match, each one representing a tag team that will be in the tag team tournament. And who were those men? Well, first, CJR Killer. That's right, the Outlaws will be in the tournament. So will the Bell Brothers as Flyboy Bell comes to the ring. And then Leonid Sanchez showing that High Voltage will represent. And then Absolute Washington from the Absolute Units. And then making his friend Squatch proud, Raphael Sampson. So we will see the All Laws in the tournament. Lock-in will be in, so we will see Eastern Block Party. And then Whitney Lee of Omega Club will in the match. And then
Oh, snap!
Vin
The
Smoke
lights and the music go
Sanji.
down, and look who it is, folks!
which is an interesting entrant because Vin's not part of a tag team. No, the other 7 entrants are all members of tag teams or factions in good standing. And then Vin Smoke. All right.
2, 3.
But right off the bat, Absolute Washington eliminated by lock-in.
And there's the flatliner.
And then you have lock-in getting a pinning attempt,
CJ is down.
but distracted because out on the ramp,
And he got him.
we have Whitney Lee taking out CJR Killer.
And now Flyboy looking to put away Finn, and he got him.
And then in the ring, you have Leonid taking on Raphael. But distracted because out on the ramp, and the second person to fall to the Flyboy, first one,
Lock-in is not going anywhere.
Whitney Lee, Lock-in, Raphael
Now
Sampson,
Whitney going for the
and
cover, trying to get
Flyboy
the
Bell.
Sanchez.
And by the way, did I mention Whitney Lee?
And got him.
Whitney eliminating Leonid Sanchez for his second elimination.
And now look out here.
And now there were 4.
Oh, some
With
trouble.
Whitney Lee going after
goes
Flyboy
down.
while Lock-in goes after Raphael Sampson.
Down.
And Whitney Lee
1,
getting the 3 count on
3.
Flyboy, earning him
Flyboy has been eliminated.
3 eliminations. And then
And now
finding
Whitney
himself up
Whitney.
agaest the
And Alpha comes like knee to
product
the
of
face.
German engineering turned comedian,
Down goes
Lock-in.
1,
And
2,
right off the bat,
and he got him.
in less than 30 seconds,
Lock-in
2
has been
eliminations
eliminated.
for Whitney Lee, bringing his total up to
On the
4.
concrete. Into the cover.
And then finally, 1,
to win
2,
this showcase,
3.
Number 2, and it is.
Whitney Lee winning that special showcase match. Whitney Lee with 5 eliminations. Thus, he has the Warzone record for most eliminations.
2 for 2 in
He
his
is
last 2
only
showcases.
outshined by Henry Colt, who had 6 eliminations in one match. But ladies and gentlemen, that's not all. Whitney Lee is the first member of the Warzone roster to have won 2, count them, 2 showcase matches. That's right, folks. For the time being, Whitney Lee of Omega Club is the Warzone king of the showcases. Now, give it, it's 2. Some other people will certainly catch up with him. But after a performance like that from Whitney, that's, that is the kind of a performance that jumpstarts careers. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Whitney Lee, 5 eliminations, your king of the showcase match, and we now know 8 teams out of 16 that will be participating in the tag team tournament to determine the number 1 contenders for the Unified Tag Team Championships currently held by the Toxic Wastelanders. Who will be the other 8 teams? And who is going to team with Vin Smoke? Well, I would say tune in to Warzone this weekend on its new channel and see what answers we get. And now, with that out of the way, let's go on to our next match. And this match, well, you know what? One of the big belts for being contested right now is the Warpgate Hardcore Championship. We need contenders for our titles. And one person that would like to make a name for themselves, well, let's go look at the match where the Warpgate Hardcore Champion himself comes out for a non-title defense against the French-Canadian Daredevil, Lade Highrold, returning to his adventurer gear. Lade Highrold getting back to his roots, his basics, and going right after the Warpgate Hardcore Champion, McMorgan, a man who has well earned his stripes. So Highrold putting his hat in the ring for being the next challenger for the Hardcore belt and looking to prove it by going after the champ. And, of course, in a hardcore situation, because chairs are perfectly legal, but you know what? High Roll's fine with that. High Roll is a tough customer. And but you know what? If there's one person who's used to getting into a matchup like that, it's McMorgan. Getting a sleeper on High Roll, but you got to remember, the falls still have to count in the ring. This isn't a falls count anywhere match. And there you, and with that, High Rolled on the hardest part of the ring. And then, of course, the knee to the no-nos. And, oh boy, nearly on the chair. That you know what? I imagine if I had been there with Eric, I'd have been commentating on the brutality, because it's there. McMorgan, I guess, learned his lessons in brutality from that beating he got so long ago from Louis McDonald. And to the point of, had that been a falls count anywhere match, he'd have won, because he made Lade tap. But no, this is, you got to get the job done in the ring. And you know what you don't find from the French-Canadian Daredevil? Quit. Never quit. And there he goes into corner. This is always, I still have to wonder, how does High Rolled feel after the events of Multivania and seeing that variant of himself? I'm hoping he's over it. Maybe not. Either way, victory to McMorgan. And High Rolled, pissed. High Rolled's shown a little bit of feistiness recently, to the point of he just decked the ref. It's like, Lade, dude, we understand. Maybe you were affected by that thing that the creation defeated, because yeah, that's not the Lade of old. Well, I guess we'll have to find out more on that story as it develops. In the meantime, we have to go to our next match. And this match, well, this is an interesting matchup, because we know one of its members is going to be in that tag team tournament. It's our Battleground champion, Sasquatch Wing, taking on Nakano Kirishima, the Delinquent. This was a call-out. Nakano and accepted a challenge to face Sasquatch Wing. He was hungry for it. And as Wing pointed out, that's great, Nakano. You know, even taking, as Squatch put it, even taking on a match you can't possibly win can be valuable in your development. Nakano, of course, I think took... That's not quite how Squatch said it. Squatch said it much nicer, because he's Sasquatch Wing. But, I mean, that was sort of the gist of it. And Nakano, I guess, taking exception to the assumption he wasn't going to win the match. Getting a reverse crossface on the Squatch. But you know what? The Sasquatch, as he will tell you, has big strength. And it's not that easy to take the big beast down. Especially because I'm sure he had several, and you can see right there, he had to have had several cups of Squatch roast before getting in that ring. And once he's got the big energy, yeah, and there goes Nakano. And, oh, that's a lot of Squatch. Oh, and it's even more Squatch. And you know what? Nakano, I'll give you credit. You didn't back down from a big challenge. You went straight up against the Battleground champion. And maybe you didn't win, kid, but hopefully you learned something about wrestling, and it will take those lessons that Squatch was willing to teach you and become a better wrestler. Or maybe you'll just go pout off into the locker room like a whiny bitch. I mean, either is possible. Hopefully, in reflecting, you'll get there. Be fine. He'll be fine. But there you have it. And as we know, the All Odds will be in the tag team tournament. And who knows, Nakano Kirishima will be in there. Maybe he's going in back to find a tag team partner. Or maybe he's just going back to, write a nasty tweet. I don't know. whatever kids do these days. So hard to keep track. But on the other hand, as is being tweeted out by Forrest the Fortress Wade, saying at least he was able to walk away. This is true. I mean, that after having all that Squatch land on him, that is a victory in and of itself. Well, as we go on, so it was stated last week by Alpha Kong that Ignacio Cervantes would have a match with the newest member of Omega Club, which of course led everyone to going, well, then who would be the newest member of Omega Club? Speculation was wide because Omega Club has had a lot of members over the years. You know, in the glory days when the masterful recruiting of Vince Smoke Sanji brought together Burnout Vaughn, D4C Trice, Alpha Kong, and Mega Blitz X. And to today, where under the leadership of Alpha Kong, you still have Mega Blitz X plus Kelly plus Whitney Lee, who is the newest member of Omega Club. Well, as the social outcast comes to the ring, he learns his opponent is Whitney Lee's former tag team partner from The Noise, Gunner Birch. Birch rocking a new bit of headgear there. And there we have it. It's off to the races. Well, I guess he used to be a ninja. Now he's more of a samurai up against the luchador. Two very, very interesting men in that ring. Ignacio, part of the new class that did include Nakano Kirishima, Sergeant Major Payne, and the legend incarnate Beowulf. Gunner Birch from the previous group of inductees. And both men looking to make their mark. Gunner has always been a sort of the, if you will excuse the term from the fact they were The Noise, more of the silent partner in the grouping. But now he's in Omega Club. Now he's playing in the big leagues. So hopefully maybe he'll get a little bit more attention, a little bit more gas in the tank. Certainly showing plenty as he goes up against Cervantes and looking to get his because what would be better than your first night in Omega Club walking away with a victory? As you see, at the ringside, Alpha Kong and Mega Blitz X, the senior members of Omega Club, looking on. Cervantes, of course, more of a lone wolf, although he has been showing up a lot lately. But no other affiliation other than his own social outcast status. And Birch, of course, showing frustration, wanting to get this first win. You can tell Birch is hungry for it. He needs that win so he can show his fellows in Omega Club they made the right choice in letting him join. Meanwhile, Cervantes looking to keep his dreams alive, and he gets it. And that is, by the way, the first match ever won by Ignacio Cervantes. That's right, he had been on the schneid until this match. So, welcome to Omega Club, Gunner Birch. You've got some work ahead of you. But you know what? You're under the tutelage of some of the best. And, maybe you can get some pointers from your former tag partner who has shown himself to be a top player since joining Omega Club. Maybe you can get some of the same rush. And now, with that, the next match. So, as I said earlier, we need contenders for our champions. We need people to come forward because, what's a belt holder with a chance to defend his title? So with that, we now need to determine who will be the number one contender for Bart Ender's Big Oof Championship. And there are two names. One person who has been putting himself forward, but before we get there, well, we have a little bit of business we need to address. Ladies and gentlemen, while we ask this question, there's somebody else who wants to answer some questions for us or pose some more philosophical questions. So it is time for the Warzone audio promo of the week. And ladies and gentlemen, we turn you over to the leader of the Conquest Bloodline, Samjax.
What is an attraction? Is an attraction the feeling of a glowing aura radiating off of something that is needed in one's life? Is an attraction a wonderful spectacle of a presentation in one who can't help to resist it? Attraction behests affection. Affection behests obsession. Obsession behests decimation. It seems my name has been circulating all over the Warzone roster. Do you all miss me? Are you all so enthralled by my presence that you just can't help but to beg to fight me? Sorry, but my fans doesn't extend to commoners or those who tainted title matches. Isn't that right, Morgan? Wheeler? Look at this angry, skirt-wearing maniac. You're supposed to be the holder of the Warpgate throne, and yet you lost to someone whose height is measured by the bike he rides in. Such utter disappointment. You think my ally Gorm will wait for his turn? Better keep a pair of eyes on the back of your head. He's got a lot of anger to fuse out. Speaking of, Wheeler the Walking Deadpan. You talk so high and mighty for someone who paid the referees to win your fights. You are as dirty as the dead horses, the veil insecure pageantry, and that disgusting rusted broken bot of a champion. Hells have no fury like a woman's heart-piercing scorn. All of your hollow mockery will not save you from the might and wrath of the Conquest Bloodline. You didn't disturb a mountain. You were walking at this, and nothing will save either of you. The era of conquest will not be diluted and radiated into obscurity. Trust me on that.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The head of Conquest Bloodline, Samjax, with a message to many of the title holders. And let us not forget, that is Mr. Money in the Bank. So let's go to see who is going to fight for the right to face one of the other belt holders. Of course, Bart Ender for the Big Oof. Well, the first person, somebody who's been stalking him for a while, Carcharodon. And the other person, well, the Nexus Titan Champion's right-hand man, Mr. Butler. And this is a disturbing match. Both men wear masks, and from what we've heard from both of them, we should take relief that they wear that. Well, at least Carcharodon, he says we don't want to see what's under that mask. Butler hasn't actually said one way or the other what he's like under there. But, you know what? I'm not going to speculate. We're just going to watch these two men. But you know what these two have in common? Brutality. Whoever is going to face Bart Ender and see if they can survive last call and closing time is a man who exercises in brutality. Carcharodon, what we've got, what we've heard so far, he is a man fused with a shark fused with a demon. I don't know how it works either, ladies and gentlemen. I just take him at his word. Him going after Butler. Butler, well, all we know so far is he did some time in prison, and he's really, really fond of specific animes, particularly apparently One Piece. He's, at least that's why I've written down. Don't get this. It's in notes. Don't get this wrong. And also, he's very picky about how you pronounce certain other terms of the otaku culture. I'm not even going to try because I'm not going to cross that line. So let's no, somebody's like, mask versus mask match. No, let's not. Oh dear, and he's a Cubs fan. Oh, that's right. I'm so sorry, Butler.
1, 2, and a
We all know what happened. I have a. You may not know this. So is Eric. Yeah, I understand it's not good. But meanwhile, in the ring, Carcharodon with the Megalodon bomb and getting a cover on the Butler, and Carcharodon walks away with the victory. So Carcharodon is now the #1 contender for Bart Ender's Big Oof Championship. And with that, oh, hey, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you heard the door open a moment ago, but I am now finally joined by my broadcast partner, Pete McPherson.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Pete.
Sorry about that.
How was the meeting with HR?
It was something. It was stressful.
Right. They didn't draw blood again, did they?
No.
Okay. So you're not lightheaded?
Oh, no, I am lightheaded, but that's for an entirely different reason.
Ah, all right. Sure. Well, we'll get into that later. Yeah. No. All right. Well, glad to have you here, Pete. We're going through Warzone. We're up to, actually, we're rapidly coming to the end, but a opportune time for you to show up because it's time for one of your favorite moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're about to hear from Wilson, son of Will.
Yay.
So, yeah, let's go to the ring and hear what Work Rate Wilson has to say.
Excuse me! I said excuse me! It's annoying, isn't it? See, everybody likes to say that I'm the most annoying person on this microphone, but you fail to remember there are people much more annoying and a lot less handsome than me that could come out here and talk to you. So you should all be grateful that I took time out of my busy schedule to talk to the plebs. We are going to bring the trios titles back to where they were founded, back to where they belong. And I don't understand why you people are rooting against us. Everyone in that locker room should want these titles to come. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, what? Okay. Hello, is this thing on? Hello, Wilson. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Juan Chance, and I will be the legal representation for the Doom. So, I am out here to present the information from the one Mad Jack. What the flip is going on? No, you're not. You are not. You're not even a lawyer. Gorewheel's a lawyer. I'm sure that there's a lawyer on your Lawson or whatever. You are not a legal representation of anything. You're a representation of failure. And Doom has a message for you. They say, you no good. They say you no good. You no bring championships to Warzone because you no good. Once, congratulations. It'll be the clickbait for your career the rest of your life. Foul mouth. I'll tell you what, Juan, since I'm not done kicking the shit out of you and Devin, how about you boys get a little rematch against VIP? Juan Chance, legal representative over. Now Juan Chance wrestlers say, we kick your ass. We have special surprise for Hugh Wilson. Whoa, very special surprise. You bring booty, you bring Sam, we kick it. Game over. This ain't one chance. This your last chance.
So, yeah, that's...
Never thought I'd be impressed by one shit-talking.
No, but, yeah, I mean, he's...
I mean, if anybody's going to be able to back it up against Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, no, Juan's he's been doing some interesting stuff lately.
Yeah.
And then there's Wilson, who's...
Done stuff.
Absolutely has done stuff. I think we can all agree on that. Well, moving on to our next match. We have... Well, this makes sense. There's still... You know, if there's one thing you can say about Zacho Duo, it's he holds a grudge. And, if you've wronged him, you're at some point going to have to face him. And there was one person who definitely was in the wronged Zacco camp. And so as the Multiverse Heavyweight Champion comes to the ring, joined by Meme, he gets to go up against Theron Eldrazi, backed by Murder Cave members Grizzly Adams and Dr. Grimm. And as we know, Theron aided in Chaz Lee's deceptions with the whole Masked Man attacks. So, sure, Zacco wants to get some payback. We also know, Pete, from the showcase match that Theron Eldrazi will be one of the members of the tag team tournament with his partner CJR Killer.
Absolutely.
And that's just, we'll see how that goes. It's not the first time they've been in one of those. Makes you wonder, who we know 8, we have 8 to go. Maybe it'll be members of the Murder Cave. Maybe it'll be members of Meme. Maybe it will be random wrestlers who've never teamed up before. We don't know.
Cats and dogs living together.
I mean,
Go
ahead. Yeah, cats. You're right.
And again, folks, coming up next.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah, you hear about the mass hysteria, the cat and dog team.
Ooh. I'm trying to think. We have Bulldog's on another show. He did partner with Shere Khan, and I haven't seen Notorious CIT in quite a while.
Sure.
So, what I have seen is a mech beat up an outlaw.
Right hand.
Again, as I said, Zacco Duo, he's, if they give out Olympic gold for grudge holding, you definitely have to put up Zacco against Dagrick.
Referee doesn't see it. Oh my goodness.
And after some shenanigans, which, sure, why not? It's the Outlaws. Zacco Duo gets the win over Theron Eldrazi. And
well, you can make that same comment about Meme, for that matter.
It's true. It's true. So, somebody's like, yeah. Maybe people are tweeting about the return of Bumblebee Tuna. I mean, maybe. I don't. Like I said, I don't know where Notorious CAT is, but Buck's back. Maybe Buck will be in that tournament. With so many questions to be answered, including what's Vince Smoke doing?
Yeah, that'd be that's an important thing to kind of be aware of.
Yeah, who's he going to team with? That's a burning question in my mind. Meanwhile, one other person that wants to come to the ring. So, of course, lately, as we said, there was the Outlaws and the deception of Chaz Lee, all of which was eventually uncovered by our resident private investigator, Papusa. Well, the PI comes to the ring to lay out more information. This time, what happened to Sparrow in that controversial match?
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be out here. So this is a pretty open and shut case. I wish I had more drama for you, but considering all the stuff we've been through over the last couple of months, it's nice to have something that's so open and shut. So allow me to explain a sequence of events that transpired. We understand that at Omega Pub, there was a book of anime of some kind, a manga of some kind that was recovered along with a substance next to a drink where reportedly bartender saw Sparrow sitting. And that's where the Outlaws come into this situation. They seem very good at doing this. One of them provided the plants. The other one actually provided the poison that was used on Sparrow prior to the match. One outlaw did the red herring. The other provided the utensil. However, throughout the course of my investigation, I realized the Outlaws didn't do the deed themselves. That was indeed you, Mr. Butler. So, Mr. Butler, the brass has decided that next week, with Sparrow being cleared, you are going to go one-on-one with one half of the Sentinels. Which leaves me with nothing to solve, which is a
Weird predicament. So I have a bit of a proposal. Mick Morgan, you like to throw your weight around and call yourself a hardcore champion. Well, I think it's about time old Papusa gets himself involved in this title picture. So I'm challenging you to a match next week, boyo.
Well, there's a bit to unpack there.
Yeah, well, I guess we would say welcome back to hardcore competition, Pupusa Monkey.
Yeah, making his declaration, calling out the champion McMorgan. Why not? We've seen Daggerick go after him. We've seen Lade Highroll this earlier in the night go after him. So yeah, let's throw Papusa into the match. Sure.
Well, getting back into in-ring competition through the Warp Gate is somewhat of a jumping in both feet first, you could say.
It is. I mean, Papusa's a veteran, but he hasn't wrestled a lot lately.
Well, and starting off in essentially MNW's hardcore division, it carries with it some risk.
Yeah, in fact, yeah, that's true. I mean, who knows? I mean, the man was hat possessed for a long time. Who knows what effects that had on him?
Yep.
Also, of course, the news that Sparrow will get his hands on Mr. Butler. Those two will face off on Saturday on Warzone on its new channel, and we'll have to see who comes out on top. It's Sparrow's going to have a lot of determination in going into that, wanting a little bit of payback.
Absolutely.
Well, with that, the next match, well, this was called earlier in the evening. Well, this all kind of felt like inevitability. We knew that there was going to be some face-off. Devin, making his presence known against VIP, who have his former teammate, Suplex Sam. So, former member of Shoot Nations, both former members having a bit of issues. So we have Wilson, the son of Will, who we heard jawing early this evening, joined by Suplex Sam, being, of course, accompanied at ringside by the Doctor of Albinomics. And they are taking on Devin, joined by Juan Chance. But who's his partner? Well, it's Jack Abbott. The Scorpion returns to competition. So this means it's VIP versus Shoot Nation.
Sort of an impromptu reunion.
Yeah, but these are, in fact, both still rocking Shoot Nation logos and colors in their ring gear. So I guess they are claiming the name Shoot Nation, and why not? They were both members. It's not like Sam's using it. But of course, Sam, having found some success with VIP, and of course with his usually tag team partnering with One Beef, but tonight with Wilson. I'm unsure. Is he still Wilson son of? Is it Work Rate Wilson? Is it Wilson son of Will? Are those interchangeable? And more importantly, Pete,
say it's interchangeable, though I believe they are going with Work Rate Wilson. Right. I personally think it's interchangeable.
Okay, and also the other key question: do we care?
No.
I mean, I might get a no when I'm commentating on Warzone, but until then, I don't know.
I mean, I get junk mail too.
That's true.
Yeah, spam filter.
And right there, the STF on Work Rate Wilson from Devin, getting him into that submission hold. And we know that submission hold, Devin has taken out some top players with that submission maneuver. A lot of people have to remember, Devin's been around for a while. He's had a chance to work on his skills. And of course, the Scorpion, Jack Abbott, he came up in the ranks in England with his buddy Ginger Boy, and he's back in action and gets that lion tamer on Wilson. And with that, Abbott gets the tap out on Wilson. Shoot Nation wins.
Well, that's one way to come back.
And how? And of course, one Chance celebrating with him outside. One seems to be, we talked about, he's making friends, he's up and coming. And he seems to have cemented himself as a constant thorn in Wilson's side. But it's not about him. It's about these men. It's about Shoot Nation. Welcome back to Action Jack Abbott. What a way to come back to the ring.
Putting a little sting back into the Shoot Nation.
There you go. It's very good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to our main event. It was determined after weeks of competition to get there. It's time for the Nexus Titan Championship bout with the one-man bar fight, the leader of the Roughnecks, Burnout Vaughn, coming up against the Nexus Titan champion, Sir Uncle Dunk. And there's a lot of history here. Of course, the Republic had a long and contentious history with Omega Club. There was that controversial 4-on-4 match at Multivania 3 and all of the issues in between. So already, these two have issues with each other. And then there's, ever since Uncle came back with his updated attitude, a lot of people have been wanting to slap the taste out of his mouth. None more so than Vaughn. But at every turn, Uncle always seemed to be one step ahead, planning or buying what he needs to get out of action. In case in point, Mr. Butler coming to the ring, right in front of the ref, too. And it's interesting, Butler didn't actually touch Vaughn, but Vaughn certainly touched him.
Well, and that is the important part, is that in that sense, Mr. Butler never did actually strike Burnout or anybody.
Technically, he did not interfere with the match, if you want to look at it from a strictly rules standpoint. And that did give Uncle a chance to get some shots in on Vaughn. In the meantime, also, notice that chair in the ring. It's always a dangerous prospect when especially when the ref doesn't notice it, even when he's standing on it. But
well, I mean, give him a bit of credit. He's that focused on the match.
True. Sorry about that, folks. But also, it goes back to, let's talk about all the, Uncle Dunk always comes into the ring with a plan. He knows what he's doing, and getting Vaughn into a submission hold, but Vaughn breaks out immediately and actually manages to get Uncle to thump his head on the chair. And then, oh boy, let me tell you, being on commentary lately, there's nothing quite like having the wrestlers right in front of you, possibly fighting on your table.
And thankfully, though, they seem to favor the Spanish announce table more than our main one.
Right, and the fact that we haven't been able to hire a Spanish announce crew yet, that makes that safer. And back in the ring they go. So when you look at this history, I mean, Burnout Vaughn, he's been a two-time World Heavyweight Champion. He was a cursed champion. He's looking to add the Nexus to it. And the ref missed a moment. Vaughn going for probably a smoke break. Getting hit by Uncle Dunk instead. Again, Uncle has him scouted. And then, here it is. And there he goes. One knock to the dome later. And Vaughn's down. 2, 3. And Sir Uncle Dunk retains the Nexus Titan Championship. And just not even being gracious to the ref. Just what happened to the class? That's all I have to ask.
Well, and it's important to note that the while there were interferences that went on during the match, the interferences did not essentially play into the final result of the match.
No, that's true. In the end, it was Uncle Lee successfully defending his belt. Well, Pete, that leaves us with but one last thing to do, and that is the Warzone moment of the week. But before we get there, we have another word from our sponsor.
Come one, come all! The Observer Spectacular Wax Museum would like to welcome you and your family for our lovely establishment. Only $1 per person! Wow! Come and see the wax figurines of your favorite animals, historical figures, wrestlers, food, and even things not of this world. All of the Observer Spectacular Wax Museum displays are totally made of wax and are not made of unwilling subjects. So come on down and see the spectacular sights for yourself.
Note that all the wax figurines are all wax, nothing but wax, but they totally are not people we've kidnapped to try to leech money off of them and made them back to life. They're just made of wax.
Gut! And there's the flatliner! Another flatliner! CJ is down! 1, 2, and he got him!
CJR Killer has been eliminated.
And now Lock-in trying to put away Sanchez. 1, 2, and oh! Lock-in is not going anywhere. And now Whitney going for the cover, trying to get rid of Sanchez. And got him!
Lead and Sanchez.
And now look out here. Oh, some trouble. Samson goes down. Flyboy goes down. Everybody down. 1, 2, 3.
Flyboy has been eliminated.
And now Whitney with a knee. An Alpha Kong-like knee to the face. Down goes Lock-in. 1, 2, and he got him.
Lock-in has been eliminated.
Going forward one more time. On the concrete. Into the cover. To win this showcase number 2, and it is.
There you have it, your Warzone moment of the week. And congratulations to Whitney Lee. Again, you hold the Warzone record for most eliminations in a single showcase, and the distinction of being the first member of the Warzone roster to win 2 showcases.
Absolutely.
I have to assume Alpha Kong is very
that
proud.
win streak's going to be an interesting sight to see tackled.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how it's gotten on Flashbang, and now that the showcase match has found itself to Warzone, people are already vying for that accolade, and we knew that Beowulf wanted to be the first one to reach 2, but he got beat out by Whitney Lee. I have to see how that's going to play out while he's been focusing on Sergeant Major Payne. Well,
very true.
But then again, there's still that the next milestone would be 3. Somebody better start trying to catch up with Whitney if they want to get there before he does. With that does bring us to the close of the evening. So, Pete, I know you came in late. Is there anything you want to share with the audience before we wrap up Firing Line for the night?
No, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Still a little spacey.
That's fair. That's fair. I know those meetings go. With that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us. Make sure to tune in tomorrow night for Friday Night Flashbang, and then check out at 1 p.m. Saturday, Warzone on its new network. For Pete McPherson, I'm Jerry Aldini. Good night.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the Multiverse Nexus Wrestling YouTube channel. If you like this video, go ahead and drop a like, share the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and ring that bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. This has been Joe, signing out.